They say the most dangerous man in New York doesn't carry a gun. He doesn't need to. One word from Dante Morty can end a life, build an empire, or start a war. But what happens when the man who commands absolute obedience meets the one woman who refuses to bow? This is the story of a mafia don who ruled everything, except his own heart, and the poor waitress who brought the king to his knees. The blood on Dante Morty's cufflinks was still wet when he walked into Rosa's diner at 3 a.m. He shouldn't have been there. A man in a $5,000 suit didn't belong in a place where coffee cost $1, and the seats were held together with duct tape. But he'd been driving for hours, trying to wash the violence from his mind, and the neon sign had called to him like a beacon. Inside, a woman with flour in her hair and exhaustion in her eyes looked up from wiping down tables. She didn't recognize him, didn't fear him, just said, "Kitchen's closed, but I can make you eggs if you're hungry." That's when Dante Morty, the most feared man in 5 boroughs, felt something he hadn't felt in 20 years, human. Isabella Bella Romano learned 3 things the night her father died in a warehouse fire that the police called suspicious, but never investigated. 1, the system didn't protect people like her. 2, survival meant working 3 times as hard for half as much. And 3, she was completely alone in this world. That was 5 years ago. Now, at 26, Bella had calluses on her hands, chronic exhaustion in her bones, and exactly $243 in her savings account. She worked the night shift at Rosa's Diner in Brooklyn, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., 6 days a week. The tips were terrible, the customers were worse, but the rent for her studio apartment was due in 4 days, and she was still $60 short. She scraped burnt scrambled eggs off the griddle, ignoring the way her back ached and her feet screamed. The diner was empty except for old Joe sleeping in booth 3. Rosa let him stay as long as he ordered coffee, and a drunk couple arguing in the corner. The bell above the door chimed at 3:17 a.m. Bella looked up, her customer service smile already in place, and the words died in her throat. The man who walked in didn't belong in this world. Custom suit that probably cost more than her car. Dark hair swept back from a face that was too beautiful to be real, sharp cheekbones, strong jaw, lips that looked like they'd never smiled. But it was his eyes that stopped her. Dark, almost black, ancient eyes that had seen things no one should see. There was something dangerous about him, something that made her prey instincts scream run. "Kitchen's closed," she heard herself say, her voice steadier than she felt. "But I can make you eggs if you're hungry." He stared at her for a long moment, those dark eyes cataloging everything. Her cheap uniform, her worn shoes, the flour in her hair from the bread she'd been making for the morning shift. "Eggs," he finally said. His voice was rough like gravel wrapped in silk. "Scrambled black coffee." He slid into the booth farthest from the door, his back to the wall, facing the entrance. Bella noticed that. Noticed how his jacket hung in a way that suggested a weapon underneath. Noticed the scarred knuckles when he laid his hands on the table. Definitely dangerous. She should have been afraid. Should have called Rosa or told him to leave or something. Instead, she poured him coffee and went to make his eggs. "You work here every night?" he asked when she brought his food. "Yes," she didn't elaborate, didn't ask why he wanted to know. "Alone. Rosa's in the back, and we've got a panic button under the register." A lie, but he didn't need to know that. Something that might have been approval flickered in his eyes. Smart. He ate in silence, and Bella went back to her closing duties. But she felt his eyes on her, watching, assessing. The weight of his attention was heavy, suffocating. When he left, he put a $100 bill under his coffee cup. "The meal was $8, Bella said, picking up the bill. "I know," he was already at the door. "I can't accept this." He turned back, and for the first time, something that might have been amusement crossed his face. "You can't." "No, I work for my money, I don't take handouts." "It's a tip." "It's charity, there's a difference." The amusement deepened. "What's your name?" She shouldn't tell him. Every instinct screamed not to tell him. "Bella." "Bella," he repeated, like he was tasting the word. "I'll see you tomorrow night." "We're open 24 hours. You can come whenever you want. I know, but I'll see you tomorrow night, when you're working. He left before she could respond, disappearing into the darkness like he'd never been there at all. Bella looked down at the $100 bill in her hand. She should refuse it, should run after him and give it back. Instead, she folded it carefully and put it in her pocket. Rent was due in 4 days. Pride was expensive, and she couldn't afford it. But something told her she'd just made a deal with the devil, and the payment would be more than money. Dante Morty came back the next night, and the night after that, and the night after that. Always at the same time, between 3 and 4 a.m., when the diner was nearly empty. Always ordering the same thing, scrambled eggs, black coffee. Always leaving a $100 bill under his cup, despite Bella's protests. "Why do you keep coming here?" she asked on the 5th night, refilling his coffee. "Good eggs. There are 50 diners in Brooklyn with better eggs." Better company. He looked up at her, those dark eyes unreadable. Bella's heart did something stupid in her chest. "I don't even talk to you." Exactly. She didn't understand him. This beautiful, dangerous man who sat in her section every night and said almost nothing, but somehow made her feel seen in a way no one else ever had. "What do you do?" she asked. "For work." "Import and export." "Of what?" "Whatever people need." It was a non-answer, but his tone said the conversation was over. Bella knew better than to push. But curiosity was a dangerous thing. After her shift, she Googled "handsome men Brooklyn import-export," which was stupid and yielded nothing useful. Then she tried "expensive suit Brooklyn businessman," which was somehow even more useless. It was Rosa who finally told her, 2 weeks after Dante's first visit. "Bella Mija, you need to stay away from that man." Rosa was 65, had run the diner for 40 years and didn't scare easily, but her hands were shaking as she poured her morning coffee. "What man?" "The one in the expensive suit. The one who comes in every night and looks at you like you're water, and he's been in the desert for 40 years. "He's just a customer, Rosa." "He's Dante Morty." Rosa grabbed Bella's wrist, her grip tight enough to hurt. "You understand what that means." "Dante Morty, the Morty family, the Mafia, Bella, he's the Don, the boss, the man who runs half of New York's underworld." The floor tilted under Bella's feet. That can't be." "Look him up, Google him, you'll see." Bella did, and what she found made her blood run cold. Dante Morty, 34 years old, took over the Morty crime family when he was 25 after his father was murdered. Suspected in connection with 17 deaths, but never charged. Operated businesses across New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Legitimate fronts included restaurants, real estate, and import companies. Illegitimate operations included gambling, loan sharking, and things the articles only hinted at. There were photos. Dante in a courtroom, his face impassive as charges were read. Dante leaving a restaurant with a beautiful woman on his arm. Dante at a funeral, his expression carved from stone. In every photo, he looked exactly as he did in the diner. Dangerous, untouchable, alone. "He's Mafia," Bella whispered to herself. "Oh my God, he's actual Mafia." She should quit, should run, should never go back to the diner. But rent was due, and she'd already spent 2 of his $100 tips. And maybe, he was just a customer who liked eggs and coffee and silence. So she went back to work that night, her heart hammering every time the door opened. Dante arrived at 3:23 a.m. He slid into his usual booth, and Bella brought him his coffee without being asked. Her hands were steady. She was proud of that. "You know," he said. It wasn't a question. Bella set the coffee pot down carefully. "Yes." "And you're still here." "I need the job." "There are other jobs." "Not ones that pay what this pays, thanks to your tips." She met his eyes, forcing herself not to look away. "Are you going to hurt me?" "No." "Are you going to hurt anyone here?" "No." "Then I don't see why I should quit." Something shifted in his expression, surprise maybe, or respect. "Most people run when they find out who I am." I'm not most people, and I'm too tired to run. She pulled out her order pad. Scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs, he confirmed. That should have been the end of it. Customer and waitress. Simple, safe. But nothing about Dante Morty was simple or safe. He started asking questions. Small ones at first. How long had she worked here? Did she like it? What did she do during the day? Bella answered carefully, revealing nothing important. But somehow, over scrambled eggs at 3 a.m., a strange intimacy developed. Dante told her about growing up in Queens, about his mother who died when he was 12, about learning to survive in a world that wanted him dead. He didn't talk about the family business, didn't talk about violence or crime, just the man underneath the monster. And Bella found herself telling him things too, about her father, about being alone, about working 3 jobs and still barely surviving, about dreams she'd given up and hopes she couldn't quite kill. You're too smart for this place, Dante said one night, 4 weeks after they met. Smart doesn't pay rent. I could. No, Bella cut him off before he could finish. Whatever you're about to offer, the answer is no. You don't know what I was going to say. You were going to offer money, or a job, or help, and I don't want it. Why not? Because everything has a price, especially things from men like you. Dante's jaw tightened. Men like me. Don't pretend you don't know what you are. I know exactly what I am, but you don't. You see the news stories and the rumors and you think you know, but you don't know anything about my world. I know enough. I know men like you take what they want. I know they hurt people. I know they don't care about the collateral damage. Bella's voice shook. My father worked in a warehouse that burned down because someone wanted to send a message to someone else. The police said suspicious fire and then forgot about it because my father didn't matter. He was just collateral damage in someone else's war. The silence was heavy, suffocating. What warehouse? Dante's voice was soft, dangerous. Martinez Import Company, 5 years ago. I remember that fire. Dante's hands curled into fists on the table. That wasn't us. That was the Calabrese family, and they paid for it. Paid for it? My father is dead. How did they pay for that? They're all dead now. Every single one of them who was involved in that fire. Do you want me to tell you how they died? Do you want details? No, Bella stepped back, suddenly remembering exactly who she was talking to. I don't want anything from you. Liar, Dante stood, and he was close now, too close, his presence overwhelming. You want the same thing I want. You want something real in this fucked-up world. You want someone who sees you, really sees you, and you're terrified because you found it in the last place you should have looked. You don't know what I want. Don't I? His hand came up, hovering near her face but not touching. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you don't feel this thing between us. Tell me I'm imagining it and I'll walk out that door and never come back. Bella opened her mouth to tell him exactly that. To lie, to protect herself. But the words wouldn't come. I thought so, Dante said softly. He stepped back, putting distance between them. I'm not a good man, Bella. I've done things that would make you sick. I've hurt people, killed people. And I'd do it again if I had to. But I've never lied to you and I won't start now. I want you. Not for a night, not for fun. I want you in my life, in my world. And I know that's the worst thing I could possibly offer you, but I'm too selfish to walk away. I can't, Bella whispered. I can't be part of that world. I know, but the offer stands. When you're ready, if you're ever ready, I'll be waiting. He left $100 bill on the table and walked out. Bella stood there, shaking, and wondered when her life had become so complicated. Dante stopped coming to the diner. 1 week passed, then 2, then 3. Bella told herself it was for the best, told herself she'd made the right choice, told herself the ache in her chest was just exhaustion, not loss. She was lying. The diner felt emptier without him. 3 a.m. came and went, and she found herself watching the door, waiting for someone who wasn't coming. You miss him, Rosa said one night, catching her staring at the empty booth. I don't even know him. Mija, you know him better than anyone. That man came here every night for 6 weeks and talked to you more than he talks to anyone. Marco, you know Marco who works at his restaurant? He says Don Morty never talks, just gives orders. But with you, Marco says he smiled, actually smiled. It doesn't matter, we're from different worlds. Love doesn't care about worlds. It's not love, it's... The door burst open, but it wasn't Dante. 3 men in dark suits, with guns poorly concealed under their jackets. Bella recognized the look, predators walking into a place they thought was helpless. Everyone out, the tallest one said, except the girl. Rosa moved in front of Bella immediately. No, you leave, now. Lady, I'm not asking. We have business with Isabella Romano. You can walk out alive or we can make you a problem. Your choice. Bella's blood turned to ice. They knew her full name. They'd come specifically for her. Why? She asked, her voice steadier than she felt. What do you want with me? You're Morty's whore. That makes you valuable. I'm not. We know you are, been watching. Saw him coming here every night, saw how he looks at you. The tall man smiled, and it was ugly. The Calabrese family wants to send a message, and you're going to deliver it. Calabrese, the same family that killed her father, the same family Dante said was dead. I thought the Calabrese family was gone, Bella said. Most of it, but not all, and we're going to rebuild, starting with taking everything Morty loves. The gun came out, pointed at Bella's chest. Everything happened at once. The window shattered. The tall man jerked backward, a red stain blooming on his chest. The other 2 men spun, reaching for their weapons, but they never got the chance. Dante appeared from nowhere, moving like death itself. One man went down with a knife in his throat. The other barely had time to scream before Dante's hand found his neck. The sound of the man's neck breaking was sickeningly loud in the silent diner. Then there was only the sound of Bella's harsh breathing and the ringing in her ears. Dante stood in the center of the carnage, blood on his hands, and his eyes found hers. Are you hurt? His voice was rough, desperate. Bella shook her head, unable to speak. He was at her side in an instant, his hands on her face, her arms, checking for injuries. His touch was gentle despite the violence still clinging to him. You weren't supposed to be here, Bella whispered. You stopped coming. I was giving you space, giving you time to decide, but I had men watching, making sure you were safe. His jaw clenched. I wasn't fast enough, I'm sorry, I'm so fucking sorry. You saved my life. I almost got you killed. Dante pulled her into his arms and Bella went, letting herself be held by a killer in the middle of a crime scene. This is my world, Bella. This violence, this blood. These are the consequences of being with me. Do you understand now why I can't have you? Why I shouldn't want you? But you do want me. More than air, more than anything. His arms tightened around her. But I won't trap you in this. I won't make you a target. Bella pulled back enough to look at his face, at the blood splatter on his perfect cheek, at the ancient pain in his dark eyes, at the man who'd killed 3 people without hesitation to save her life. I'm already a target, she said. You just proved that. They came for me because of you, yes, but also because of my father, because of a 5-year-old debt I didn't even know existed. I'm already in this world whether I want to be or not. So leave. Go somewhere they can't find you. I'll give you money, protection, a new life. I don't want a new life. The words came out strong, certain. I want this one. I want you, even though you're dangerous, even though you're broken, even though being with you means living in fear of nights like this. I want you, Dante Morty. Say it again, he commanded, his voice rough. I want you. Not that, say my name, the way you just did. Dante. Again. Dante. He kissed her then, hard and desperate and claiming. Bella kissed him back, tasting violence and desperation and something that felt terrifyingly like love. When they broke apart, sirens were wailing in the distance. My men will handle this, Dante said, but you need to come with me. Now it's not safe here anymore. Where are we going? Somewhere I can protect you. His hand found hers, fingers interlacing. My home, my world. Are you sure, Bella? Because once you step into my life, there's no going back. Bella looked at the blood on the floor. At Rosa, who was nodding encouragingly despite the terror in her eyes. At the broken window and the shattered life she'd been living. I'm sure, she said. I'm tired of being afraid, tired of being alone, tired of surviving instead of living. This won't be easy. I don't want easy, I want real. Dante smiled then, a real smile that transformed his face from beautiful to devastating. Then come with me, let me show you my world, all of it, the violence and the loyalty and the family, and then you can decide if you can live in it. I already decided. Humor me, give me 3 days. If after 3 days you still want this, if you still want me. He paused, something vulnerable flickering in his eyes. Then I'll give you everything. My name, my protection, my life, all of it. And if I don't? Then I'll let you go. I'll set you up somewhere safe, somewhere far from this world, and I'll never bother you again. You'd really let me go. If it meant you were safe, yes, I'd let you go, even if it killed me. Bella squeezed his hand. Take me home, Dante. Show me your world. 3 days turned into forever. Bella learned that Dante's world wasn't just violence and blood. It was family dinners where everyone argued and laughed. It was loyalty that ran deeper than law. It was a twisted code of honor that made sense in its own way. She learned that the monster the world feared was also a man who couldn't sleep without checking that she was safe, who learned to cook her favorite meals, who treated her like she was precious instead of powerless. 6 months after that bloody night in the diner, Bella stood in front of a mirror in a white dress, preparing to become Mrs. Morty. Not because Dante demanded it with his signature command, say it and obey me, but because she'd found something she never expected in the arms of the city's most dangerous man, a place where she belonged. This wasn't a fairy tale. It was real, messy, and complicated, and sometimes terrifying, but it was theirs. What did you think of Bella and Dante's intense love story? Would you take the leap into a dangerous world for love, or walk away to safety? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I love hearing your perspectives. If this story had you on the edge of your seat, smash that like button and subscribe for more intense romance stories. And check out my video about the assassin who fell in love with his target. It's linked in the description, and it's even more dramatic than this one. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most dangerous choice is also the right one. See you soon.